Now, I told y'all yesterday that I wasn't convinced that people was actually getting withdrawals. There's people in the comments saying they're getting withdrawals, but not showing any receipts. It's people in the comments saying that they paid the 12%, but their withdrawal is still pending. And there's people in the comments who are also saying, hey, I paid the 12%. If I actually get a true withdrawal, I'll let you know. And salute to those who do, if you actually get a withdrawal. And the reason why I say if is because I believe that the 12% is a method for them to get some more cash flow coming in because the funds have been frozen. I just do. I told you yesterday that I was also going down a pathway of learning or figuring out how to connect when my money was deposited, where it went. And because when you go down the blockchain, you can travel and see where money went. However, people have gotten strategic with finding ways to hide where the money is going, especially when you're dealing with a lot of transactions, a lot of deposits, a lot of withdrawals, especially if you're trying to hide your hands. So I'm gonna be honest, it was too much for my current knowledge level. I was going down the blockchain, I chased down multiple wallets, then I saw where it got to going to where it went to bridges, and I was like, how do you trace the bridge? Because, it's going to a different platform and a different method. How do you trace the wrapped crypto? It's a whole, world of new lingo when you're dealing with crypto. For those of you who know, but those of you who don't, I'm just letting you know that I was going down that pathway. But what I want to do today, this information was put out. I knew about it probably about a week ago, but I want to do my own deep dive on going through the blockchain to find where the money likely went. But again, it was more than my current knowledge level. So that being said, I'm gonna just do an overview of what another guy was able to find or do in terms of due diligence and following the money with the blockchain that led to the funds being frozen with DSJ and BG Wealth Sharing. Many of you have already seen it. Many of you already commented and talked about it, mentioned it. I get it. But I wanted to do it for myself. But what I did do for myself was at least copy a couple of those wallet addresses that he had listed and just see for myself, okay, are these wallet addresses frozen? Now, I didn't do the deep dive myself, but based on his breakdown, I believe him. I believe he knows what he's talking about. He's not new to this. He does this. This is what he does in terms of tracking crypto. That being said, I don't believe that people are getting their funds. They may let a few people get their funds, but I don't believe withdrawals are happening. So you do with that information what you wish. But a lot of times people are sitting back still waiting on, are they going to get a withdrawal? Somebody said in the comments earlier today, hey, nah, just wait. It's going to be May 15th. Well, they said it was going to be instant, and that was at the beginning of May. It's May 11th, 12th, give or take right now, and nothing has come from it. So if they keep pushing the gold mark, then they're just trying to buy time to continue to get cash flow and people paying because they need the cash flow if 41 million or however many million has been frozen. So that's very important to note. Now, in the meantime, like I said, you want to be developing skill sets and assets. And I have something I'm going to share with you probably on the next video that I feel can allow you to start potentially positioning yourself to get profits, but also learning at the same time. It's not MLM or network marketing. Not that I'm opposed to network marketing. True network marketing is not a scheme or a scam. It's a business model that's referral based. Instead of paying for ads, you pay people who are willing to market the product to the masses. That's just what network marketing is. So I'm not the one that believes our MLM or network marketing is a scam. It has the potential to come off as that for those who market it a certain way, and certain companies have gone down, negatively from a scam angle in that industry. But the business model of network marketing and MLM is not a scam. Now, I said all that to say that this is not network marketing. It is me sharing a platform that already exists, that's been existing for years, that's trusted by several, and I think it's a way for us to figure out ways that we can be growing our money and really understand that it's real things happening. But do not do that without also having some knowledge that you're pointing to yourself as well. I say that, and I say the deeper details for the video. But let's go into the deep dive of what the guy was able to expose, and then I'm gonna show you how I copied just two of the wallet addresses. One had $9 million in it, another one had $2 million in it, and I pasted it, and I'm gonna show you what the results were based on my findings. And that was enough for me to validate, okay, I believe this, God knows what he's talking about. Since I wasn't able to go through the deep dive like he was, you're going to see all of the steps that he went through in order to, you know, say that DSJ was a scam, a scheme, a Ponzi, or whatever word you want to put to go along with it. Recovering BG Wealth Sharing. We gotta figure out how we're gonna survive or recover from BG Wealth Sharing by moving in the right direction of skill sets and assets. It is what it is. That's just how I feel. It is what it is. Some people will still say, hey, you just gotta wait. They're going to a different level. All right, you let me know when you're able to get withdrawals in your account, and I don't see that happening based on what I'm seeing. So that way I can, pivot, transition into serving you and giving value from a level of skill sets and assets and access to the right platforms. That being said, let's go over the findings. All right, so this credit goes to ZachXBT. He basically does, investigations when it comes to certain individuals, platforms, anything that, could potentially be a scam. That's, what his page is predicated towards. Doesn't have any YouTube content that I've seen, but he does a lot on Twitter. That being said, that's where this breakdown comes from. So got to give him credit where it's due. This is his content. That being said, he broke it down numerically. So one, he said the $150 million DSJ Exchange, DSJ XBT Wealth Sharing Ponzi scheme collapsed last week from April 27th to May 3rd. Illicit actors laundered $92 million plus across chains to obscure the trail. I helped lead an initiative with Tether, Binance Security Team, OKX, and U.S. law enforcement that has since frozen $41.5 million. And then he did a screenshot of where Tether froze $38.4 million on Tron, 19 addresses blocked in single transaction. On May 4th, the largest single freeze was $9.4 million. And I'm going to show you where I copied that $9.4 million address and, to see if it was actually frozen. And then it goes on to say, a breakdown of the addresses: 9.4 in one address, 2 million in 10 addresses, 1 million in 5 addresses, and less than 1 million in 3 addresses. Then number 2 says DSJ BG has been running since 2025, advertising 1.3 to 2.6 daily returns with referral commissions and rank-based bonuses. Now, he says running since 2025. We've been told that it's been running since 2018, but when you do a dive on that, you really can't prove it. The only thing shows is a company being registered on that date, and I was looking for myself. So I regret to inform you, I haven't found that it was running before then either. And the people that I know who were almost in a year got in last year. The earliest person I knew to join, I believe, was like May of last year. They were approaching their 1-year anniversary, and that's when it blew up. Like it got very popular after that time frame up until this point. That being said, I haven't seen anything that proves that it's been running since then. However, it's good to market and say it's been running longer, because mentally it gives person confidence in knowing, it's been going on for this many years. It's been going on. We're just new to it. It's been going on. That looks good, but the proof says otherwise. Well, anyway, advertising 1.3 to 2.6 daily returns with referral commissions and rank-based bonuses. DSJ equals fake trading platform. BG is an investment group. Now, a fictitious CEO named Stephen Beard fronted the platform while domains and hot wallets rotated regularly to evade law enforcement. Recruitment and fake trading signals was pushed through a group on Bun Chat, Hong Kong messaging app. And then it says DHEC, which is Danny behind MLM for coverage of the investigation fraud. I actually had a conversation with Danny, on his platform. I was on a live video just showing I'm a real person. He invited me to come on. I hopped on, and I like to say the conversation went pretty well. So, no bad blood there. I told him, if he's coming from a good place of helping people, then I could respect that. And that's what it seems like he's doing. He said he know people who has, been suicidal after certain debacles or things have happened and money was lost. So coming from that place, I could respect it. There's a lot of content of mine that he shared, but after we had a conversation, I like to say the conversation went well. So I just leave that right there. Then it went on to show different screenshots of different things. I think this may have come from Danny and or the behind MLM. But number 3 says 13 regulators across 5 continents issued fraud warnings publicly about DSJ and BG, which we've seen these fraud warnings, but we felt as though people were still winning, making withdrawals. So of course they don't want to see people win. At least that was my stance. Now I will say this, where it says the site has been seized, the bgwealthsharing.com, I don't recall ever that site being used ever. So I'm not sure if that belonged to BG Wealth Sharing or not. It could have, but that's where that site takes you. But somebody broke down how the domain was showing up prior to the seize, and it didn't have anything to do with BG according to what they were saying. But I'll just leave that there. But right now it's showing that it's seized by the government name servers, showing FBI seized.gov, which is interesting for the name servers to be titled there. But hey, maybe that's how they do it. Anyway, let's keep going. Number 4 says on May 2nd, Stephen Beard posted a video claiming DSJ would IPO soon and demanded 12% tax on account balances as part of regulatory process. By this point, withdrawals had been disabled. So that's when stuff started getting rocky. It seemed as though, okay, we're about to do an IPO, about to take things to the next level, do the 12% tax. And then in screenshots, showing different things where Lena was talking about the tax based on the balance, 12% of your account. If you have an account balance of $500, then your payment is $60. And, people have been paying that. And some people say they actually just put it in the account, screenshotted it, and never actually deposited it at all. They just, left it in there. And nothing was withdrawn from the number on the exchange. You correct me if I'm wrong. For those of you who said you paid the 12%, did the money stay in there or did you see it disappear? Because the people that I know said, yeah, I just sent the screenshot, but the money never left. I just went and added it to the trade account. Because if they said that you paid the 12%, but the money didn't show up, either one or two things, they never really withdrew the money, or the numbers on the screen are fake, and they did take the real money on the back end, but your number didn't change in the system, so you were still able to take that money, put it in your trade account, and do what you wanted to do with it. So that's just a question that I have. If you paid the 12%, did you witness the money go into your account, number 1, and then that money disappear, or did it stay there? That's very important to note. Number 5, funds from DSJ BG hot wallets were laundered through token lawn swaps, bridging via bridgers, which I told you I ran into bridges, and that's why where my investigation pretty much stopped. Butter Network, USDTO, wrapping and unwrapping. I did see some wrapped and unwrapped crypto, and then consolidation across hundreds of addresses. And then it shows hot wallets that was captured in this investigation as well. Then number 6 says that he traced 93 million plus in outflows from consolidations to multiple deposit addresses from April 27th to May 3rd, 2026. And then it shows Kobo, 63 million total received, and it has all of the different addressing. And then OKX, I did see some stuff trickle to OKX as well when I was going through my attempt to investigate, and it says 30 million total received as well. Now, this is an image of how the investigations work, and it's an app known as Breadcrumbs that allows people to track and investigate crypto. If you have a paid version, you can dive even deeper. If not, you'll get to a place where it has a lock on it, and that's what I did. I stumbled upon where it had a lock saying that based on your plan, you can't pretty much go this deep. So that was another hiccup that I encountered as well. But let's keep going. So number 7 says, I performed a timing analysis to find withdrawals and located Solana/Tron deposits to Binance and found matching Tron withdrawals and provided details to relevant parties. It resulted in 38.4 million froze by Tether on May 4th, which was yesterday at the time of this post, because this was posted on May 5th, with another 3.1 million plus frozen at various service exchanges. And then this is the breakdown, and from a deeper angle where it's showing all of the transactions. It looks like gibberish, but I was going down that pathway. I didn't get near as deep as this, but, I was connecting little dots to try to get to it. But, again, that was above my current knowledge level. Then it goes on to show different exchanges and, everything where the money went, he's saving, and you can see it's going to Tron, ETH, Tron, Solana. So you see that breakdown. Then here is where I decided, okay, bare minimum, I can do this. I can, I was figuring out how to do certain things, but let me just copy two of the addresses, the top two. So I decided to copy the address from the top where it says 9.4 and the second address under it, which is 2 million. And it says full list of frozen addresses. So I said, let me at least validate what he's saying and copy these addresses and see if they're frozen. And here's what I came up with. So if you go to a site called Blocksec AI, you can track and see what accounts have been frozen or what addresses have been frozen. I had pasted a lot of different addresses to see if any had been frozen, but I hadn't delved deep enough in order to find the addresses that had actually been frozen, because it was way more steps that I would have had to go through, because I didn't make it past the bridge, the wrapped tokens, or anything. However, let's paste the last two addresses that I copied. So this was the first one. I pasted it there, as you can see. I'm gonna go back there and just hit go. And then when you hit go, you'll see freeze right there. And then when you scroll over, you can see that it's 9.43 million froze, which matches what he said in that list based on his deep dive on going from where the money was flowing through DSJ, BG, web sharing as well. So I said, okay, let me take another address and do the other one. Let's just make sure the first two line up. I didn't go through all of them. You can feel free to do so if you wish, but I just did the one address and the second address, and this one was on the Tron network. And then you can see that it was frozen on the 4th, and it does say freeze right there. And this one had 2 million in it, which also matches with the details of his investigation. And here it is again, where you can see the first two wallet addresses that I pasted. One had 9.4 in it, the other one had 2 million in it, and then there's several others. And I'm sure if I was to copy those, it would match up as well. So let's keep going. Then he went on to say, in number 8, while these Chinese investment frauds are obvious to most, they purposely target unsophisticated retail investors via social media. I felt so type of way about that, unsophisticated retail investors, because I fell into that category. So I just, let them have it. But they target unsophisticated retail investors via social media. Reading through victims' posts, many still seem to be in denial that they were scammed. If you are a victim of BG, DSJ, I suggest filing a police report in your jurisdiction. U.S. victims, go to ic3.gov, which I referenced that site in the recovery plan video. If you haven't seen that, consider watching it. And then there's something else that I want us to be on the lookout if we're able to tap into some of the funds that have been frozen. Now, this freeze is based on crypto wallets and the blockchain and things of that nature. It's not like it's necessarily in the accounts of the investigators or the FBI. It's frozen in the wallets because USDT, from my understanding, was able to tap into God mode and close out whatever wallets had that USDT in it. So I'm not sure how that will work. However, we can still keep an eye on it in case the recovery plan that I laid out can be effective in helping people get their money back. I'm not sure. That's why I said it's potentially, no guarantee, but I did lay it out in the recovery plan of what we could pay attention to. And if it shows, okay, these accounts have been frozen or seized, then we can start applying pressure to get our portion of what was ours, even if it's just the principal, So check out that video and just kind of refer to it periodically in the event we're able to use that to our advantage. He then went on to say, I rarely investigate Ponzi schemes myself since the cases lack sophistication and the work gets repetitive. This incident caught my attention while I was reviewing USDD contract flows for another case. The 150 plus million figure is likely significantly higher since the scheme had been operating since 2025 with thousands of victims, exchange withdrawals identified. Then, it talks about, it's some different screenshots saying about how, the family was in too deep. And it's just different people saying different things. My dad fell for this. So it's just mom recruited whole family into. So it's just different things that, he's sharing that people, personal experience, was tied to it, simply put. So that was it in a nutshell in terms of his breakdown. So what are your thoughts? Many of you already seen that. I know all of the experts are going to come out. We told you, we've been sharing this. Yes, I understand. This is your moment to say I told you so. in certain areas. But if you feel that you're still going to get a deposit, or if you do get a withdrawal, I mean, let us know. Let us know in the comments. I feel like the 12% is just a method for them to get some cash flow because so much money has been frozen at this time. But I could be wrong. I could stand corrected. But what are your thoughts on that breakdown that Zach did in terms of following the blockchain? But I'm at the point where, you know, no need to cry over spilled milk. Focus on solutions. Take the L and understand that, you know, okay, this was what happened, but what can we draw from this? Nonetheless, not necessarily falling victim or doing better due diligence on the front end. Learn what you can learn about the blockchain and understanding the power in that. But skill sets and assets and access is what you want to be tapping into right now. I'm going to be sharing some things that I feel can help you in the area of skill sets, assets as well, and access as well, in the event that you're wanting to recover, bounce back, or still get on your journey to accumulating wealth in a way that's controlled by you more so than you relying on someone else. Because like I said, if you give a person the ability to feed you, you also give them the ability to starve you. I'm still a believer in copy trade. I believe that copy trading is something that is powerful, but it needs to be connected to real copy trade, not something that, you know, is kind of in the blind where you don't have a clue what's going on, or nobody you can trace or track. It gotta have some other things in place in order for it to be official. So I do believe in copy trading if you find the right expert to copy their trades. But in addition to, if you decide to take the copy trading route, you need to be learning what trading is, how it works, getting better at your skill set if you already know how it works. So that way, as you're learning, you're also earning if the person that you're copying the trades from is profitable. So as long as they're profitable, you're still earning from the market, getting money out of the market due to the copy trades that are being released. But you're also learning as well. Don't put yourself in a position to where you don't know what's going on, because the more you know about trading, the more you can call out BS. The more you know, oh, no, that can't be real because I know this, that, these, those, you know. So it positions you to better be equipped to be less likely a victim of any other scam. That being said, that's all I got for this video. I want to hear your thoughts down below and your perspectives. Assets, skill sets, and access. Mr. Smith signing out. Salute.